official.
Very official.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beautifully Broken podcast. This is our special edition series. I'm here with Liz Wiley from the Marion Institute. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you, Freddie. So happy to be with you.
Me too. So in short, I'll give everybody that happens across this video.
Yeah.
I am currently going through the introduction to biological medicine that
Yeah.
is hosted through the Marion Institute, and I'm lit up with the knowledge and
Yes.
new way to view health. I just walked away from a big conference where there were thousands of people, every cool piece of tech and laser and hyperbaric, all the shenanigans, right? And I
Right.
walked away feeling deflated and very overwhelmed and a little exhausted. And I said to myself, you know what? It's just all too much. How a person would ever find health in this is beyond me. And as I'm saying this, as I'm speaking the word, I'm simultaneously going through the intro to biological medicine and thinking, uh, this is the toolbox
This is
to
the
have
answer.
discernment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
could
right.
could be could be one of the answers, right?
Because the reality is that it's great that all of those things are out there and that they exist. But how do you use them and what's right for you as what does your individual body need? It
Yeah,
might be two of those things. It might be five of those things. It might be this thing for 2 months and then this thing for 2 months. And that's, I think, what is so unique about biological medicine is that it's really about that individualized approach. All of these things are not good for everybody. This one diet is not good for everybody. This one way of approaching your health is not good for everybody. It's very individualized. And but it's great to see that all of a sudden people are understanding that there's technology out there that can help, you know, mimic really mimic nature, right? That's what
yeah.
a lot of what biological medicine looks for is mimicking nature to bring back homeostasis to your body.
Yeah. The other thing that's really resonated with me is that, as opposed to, and I've always said this, as opposed to looking at a disease state as some unfortunate incident that has been thrust upon you just by happenstance, that
Right.
there is a formulaic equation we can find that when we go out of the rhythms of the sun and connection with the earth and rhythms of the season, the four seasons, the idea that the tree isn't always fruiting,
Right.
that of course we have an imbalance in the
Right.
body. And I just
Right.
think that's such an empowering way to look at how we can adjust. You and I can immediately adjust lifestyle and have a
Right.
different outcome. So as I'm going through this, I'm like, yes, it's great for a practitioner. Yes, it's great for a health coach. I think it's the intro courses everyone should take. Personally, there's no reason why.
Right.
Right, because you never know who you're going to connect with. It's going to be down the road that will be that practitioner. Who do you see? Yeah, if you were to ask yourself that same question, who do you think that this course material is right for?
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to give your listeners a little insight about the Marion Institute. The Marion Institute is a nonprofit organization. We're not a medical institution, so just want to make that really clear. But we're a nonprofit that's been around for about 30 years. We're in southeastern Massachusetts, and we've been promoting biological medicine for the better part of that 30 years. Biological medicine is a form of medicine that is typically used in European countries. It's really rooted in Switzerland and Germany and some of these European countries that this is the way they practice medicine. It came to us through learning about Dr. Rao and the Paracelsus Clinic in Switzerland. And so really working with him more intensely. And so we've been trying to bring this knowledge to the States. And we've done so through a bunch of different ways. You can go to our website and learn about biological medicine, and we have different programs for every entry level. So we have a lot that's for the lay person that just wants to learn more about this and think, what's out there for me to better my health. So we can do that through programs that we run, but also through this course that you're talking about, an introduction to biological medicine. That's really for everybody that just wants to understand what are they talking about.
Yeah.
But then that's a prerequisite that we to another course that we have that is really more for practitioners and people that are seeing clients and patients. So we have anybody from naturopaths to chiropractors to acupuncturists to functional medicine to integrative medicine to lifestyle medicine, right? MDs. We talk with allopathic medicine doctors too, but it's really for anybody that's saying, I'm getting patients that are so overburdened by so many things, I don't know how to help them. And I need more tools in my toolbox. And I think that that's the biggest thing that biological medicine provides, right? Is a way to look at a person more individualized, more holistically, to really start to say, how do I build in some of these technologies, these diagnostic tests, these therapies to help my patients have better outcomes. So that biological medicine for practitioners certification course is really, it's a hybrid course. So there's a lot that's online, and then it culminates with a weekend long program at the biomed centers, either the one that we have in Providence, Rhode Island, or in Scottsdale, Arizona. So we work with those medical establishments that, for that component, but those are separate from us. But we work with Dr. Dixon Tom on this program. He's a master. He's amazing. He's been practicing this type of medicine for 50 years. He started out as a dentist and really realized, like, my profession is doing a disservice with all these amalgam fillings that they were putting in people's mouths, and that this is, really toxic. And he was one of the first people that was really outspoken about that. So he started there and was practicing biological dentistry way before it was even a term. And then he moved into, became a naturopath, and then studied with a biological doctor in France, actually. He was in France that he learned. And so he's our educator, and he's the one that runs these courses. And we have a final course that, again, is all online, and it is interpreting lab results through biomed. So those are the 3 courses that through the Marion Institute we offer for everybody.
Yeah. And I'll just show, I'm actually going to screen share. I'm going to do a screen, and we'll go up here. We'll go this route. So on beautifullybroken.world, which we have tons and tons of visitors each week, each month. It's really amazing. Thousands of people come to the site. So in our store, we're going to have this Marion Institute Biomed program, and you would just literally click on the link, and that brings you to biological medicine for practitioners. We would click on enroll today.
Yep.
And then we scroll down here, and then really your introduction, the prereq course, and the biological medicine for practitioners bundle, that is the one where we would put one in, we would do code beautifully broken, make sure I type that right, we hit apply. Yep. And that takes off the value of the intro course.
Yep. That's right.
Which is really, really fun. And that's your pathway to get into this course and get moving on that. I'm going to stop sharing this. I just like to show people because it's good to have a path where you're like, oh, I can bookmark that. I had a pharmacist reach out, and she was like, I need to know where to go. I want to do this. Yeah. So back to you, Liz, like, what types of people have you seen come through the course and then really fly or flourish with it?
Well, I mean, like I said, a lot of naturopaths are using this course. We have it approved, so naturopaths get CME credits for this course. I think it's up to like 32 CME credits that you can get for the course. Most interesting, I love seeing the physical fitness world, right? So people that have gyms and things like that are really starting to say, I want to bring ozone into my clinic. I want to bring in, being able to do more testing with my clients, really being able to talk to them about, what they need to focus on and what they're looking at. So we've worked with one down in Austin, Texas. That's been amazing. I think you worked with Jesse at Central Fitness.
Jesse O'Brien, Central Health. Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. So really being able to add to, enhancing your practices, I think, is the way. When you're saying, I know that there's some diagnostics, whether it's thermometry or it's heart rate variability, or, there's key things. And this course will show that, like, how to use the most important, like you were just saying, completely overwhelmed at the conference that you were at and not knowing where to go and what to get started with. And it can just feel defeated. I think that with these courses, you would walk away knowing, these are the 4, diagnostic tests I want to bring into my practice. I'm learning, then, you're learning how to interpret those diagnostic tests, and then you're learning what therapies to prescribe based on, those tests. So you really get a good sense of okay, if I was going to spend this amount of money and bring in these two or three things, what should they be? And Dr. Tom does a really good job of breaking that down and working with people. He becomes a real an amazing mentor for people that go through the class. So it doesn't just end. I find that he is always, the learning is ongoing.
Yeah.
He's just come out with another book called The Brain Protocol. Well, it's called Begin Again, but it's on his brain protocol. We're really looking at trauma and how trauma affects people's health and the development of their different organs, their different systems in their bodies, which is fascinating, right? Like no doctors are talking about this, but yet this is so rooted in, it's rooted in deep, learnings that have happened over centuries, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's really cool to see, to see it, but to also see the outcomes from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that's really hammered home for me is the ability that we have to make so many of these adjustments in our lifestyle. And it
Yes.
comes through that deepened awareness on, oh, my body has a temperament and my body has a constitution. And there's certain things that I'm experiencing that have been passed down from my parents, certain things that are not going to be in my refrigerator or supplement cabinet. They're actually some transgenerational traumas that live throughout the body and affect, you can watch it affect different generations with more intensity.
Yeah. And
I
that's
just,
why
it's so
individual,
interesting.
right? Like my miasm is different from yours. My temperament's different from yours. My constitution is different from yours. And those three things really make up my terrain and your terrain, and how we might both present with the same disease, right? But how we both got there is very different. And so how we're going to get back to health is going to be very different. And that's what biological medicine really does. It really takes those three things into consideration, along with, like I always say, the three pillars of biological medicine are really rooted in nutrition, immune building, and detoxification, right? Like, what is it that we have
Yeah.
to detoxify from? Our air, water, soil, our relationships, our food, our heavy metals, whatever it is. And then how do you get the body built back up? And then, what is the right food for you to be, feeding and nurturing your body?
Yeah, I think the one question that this course and this introduction to this material has answered for me is that I
Mm,
had always been very frustrated why one person would get on an amp coil and would jump up, they'd be pain free, they're crying, it's been so magical, and another person there was no
yeah,
movement, there was no shift in the terrain. And I was like, how is this possible? And
right.
again, coming back to bio individuality, the other example is 10 people in a row, everybody goes out to the woods, we all get bit by ticks,
Yes.
same infection and infects every different person with different symptom sets, different longevity, different penetrates different areas of the body, different tissue. It is
Right.
fascinating to me, and it just blows up the theory. It really does. It really does destroy disease theory. Or let me say this: it brings in. You need to have the conversation about the terrain.
Yes. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the internal milieu of the body?
That's correct. Yep. Yep. It's always surprising to me, or not anymore, but it's surprising to me when I sit in a room and I watch people learn about biological medicine, and it takes a while before all of a sudden they're starting to go, okay, but what about with Lyme disease? Or what about with cancer? Or what about this type of cancer? Or what about thyroid disease? Or what about, and a biological medicine doctor is going to say, it doesn't matter what the it is. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
the it is, because you can come to us. We barely care what the it is, because we're not treating the it, we're treating the person, right? So it's the same approach. It's the diagnostic test. It's looking at what's going off in the body, what's out of whack and not in balance, and how do we restore that balance.
Hmm.
So the name of the disease or the virus or the term is inconsequential, really.
It really
Yeah.
is. And I had come to a natural. I had landed on that position
Yeah.
with some of the technologies that Marion Institute and Biomed and Dr. Drobot use.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, at least I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, these don't do harm. They add energy to the system, oxygen to the system, electrons to the system. And for the most part, eventually, over time, we start to add enough like good juju into the body where the body can have a self correcting pathway that is going to move the person forward to some degree. And then I think again, understanding what makes up your individuality, your bio individuality from this course material, it takes it to a whole nother level, because you're
Right.
just going to know yourself. And, patient know thyself, patient heal thyself. It's very simple. And yeah,
That's
I,
exactly right.
I just want to call everybody to action. So check it out. Follow our links. We'll put these in the comments in the YouTube video. We'll post some clips of this on social media, and it really is. I would say if you wanted to start anywhere, my mom's a retired nurse. I was like, what a great course for my mom to go and examine. After being in that institution, which she is self-professed. She's like, something's wrong. Couldn't tell you what necessarily. I'd be
Yeah.
fascinated for her to hear and see how it lands.
Yeah, I would love to hear that too. And I think the thing with, this always stands out to me is that with biological medicine, it's really rooted in, obviously there's the diagnostic tests, and then there's the therapies, and there's it brings in homeopathy, it brings in gemotherapy, it brings in aromatherapy, right? It brings in all these different types of ancient practices for sure. Yet, what is the biggest thing, and it's always, we always like, yeah, is the natural laws. We call them the basic treatment guidelines, or the natural laws to live by. It's the things that we should be doing every day that are common wisdom, but not common practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drinking enough water, movement, sunshine, play, joy, fun, right? Some spirituality, something that brings you, reduces your stress. Like, there is a handful of things that we should be doing every day, and our society does not support that, right? That's like self-care, like that's special, but yet that's so important for any of this other stuff to land, and I think people have been brainwashed that, oh, I've got this ailment, quick fix, take the pill, it's done. I don't have to change my lifestyle. I don't have to change how I'm living, how I'm eating, but with biological medicine, it's, you are an active participant in your health journey.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's a good spot for people to pause and jump in and go and
Join the
explore on
journey.
their own.
Yeah.
Run, go run it, go run with it. Liz,
As a journey.
I deeply appreciate you being with us today, and I will be talking with you and your team very soon.
Great. Thank you, Freddie.
Awesome. I'll talk to you soon. Big love. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.